Hey, I'm Casey Bryant with All On Georgia, and we're here today with head coach of the Trion Bulldogs, Justin Brown. Coach Brown, I want you to tell us a little bit about your coaching background.
Well, I graduated from college in 1998 from West Georgia. I started out in the West Georgia area at Temple High School, and I stayed in that area for 10 years. I was at Mount Zion High School, Villa Rica High School, and then in Douglas County I was at Alexander High School for a couple of years. So that's where I spent my first 10 years of my career, and then in 2008 I was able to have a chance to come back to Trion to work for David Humphreys, and been here ever since and enjoyed it very much. Been a great pleasure, and have been very excited since day one to be back home at Trion High School.
And you graduated from Trion,
I did.
correct?
I did. I graduated in 1992 from here. I grew up here, and that was something that I wanted to bring back. In fact, our motto that first year was called Bringing It Back. I wanted to bring back the pride factor, the tradition factor, and that it factor that I feel like makes Trion stand apart from other schools. And that first year we really played that up, the fact that I had, walked the same footbridge, practiced at the same track field, worn the same tee, worn the same colors, did a lot of the same things that these kids have done, and I really tried to tap into that. And I brought back guys. I hired guys that had Trion connections, either were graduates from here or had coached here before, and we haven't looked back. It's been a great 3.5 years so far.
Well, speaking of the it factor, what is it that you think that makes the atmosphere at Trion so much different than other places you've coached?
You can't go through the hallways hardly any day without hearing somebody mention Trion Pride, and that's something that it's not just in the football team, it's in the band, it's just your normal students who graduated from here. And one thing that you can't build, one thing that the other schools didn't have, that is just that tradition. When you are a program, when you've been playing football and you've had a school for over 80 years, it's not your Johnny-come-lately private school that pops up in Atlanta and they just throw money at their program, or they just get a group of kids together and now they call themselves a school or a team. It means something around here still, and that small town feel, that Friday night closeness of it's still the only game in town, it's still the only thing in town, and it's really still all there is for these kids to do. That feeling's still alive and well here.
Right. How do you think your team performed against Gordon Lee?
I was proud of them. I thought the big difference between last year and this year, we counted up our explosive plays, and we had 0 plays for over 15 yards last year, which was a narrow win, 21-15. This year we had 5 explosive plays, and 4 of them were in the first half. So for us to come out, have a big pass play, which is something that we really struggled to do last year, was throwing the football, to have a 50-yard pass play in that first series, take their crowd out of it, get our crowd into it, and take control of the football game was a pretty big deal. And we went from that point, gained momentum, gained control, and never looked back in that game.
Can you tell us a little bit of the history of the background behind the Trion-Gordon Lee game?
Yeah, first of all, the proximity of the towns is a big deal, and it's at one point both were mill towns. We've been similar size in school systems. We're both city school systems. Geographically, we have basically the same economic makeup, the same social economic makeup, and when you have schools that are kind of that similar, there's going to be a rivalry from that standpoint. The main thing is it's the longest continual running rivalry in the state of Georgia. We've been playing football against them every single year since 1944, and there's been some bad blood with the Gordon Lees. There was some bad blood the other night. There was some student body of their kids that were not behaving very well at the beginning of the game or before the game, and then during the game there was a vandalization of our buses, and after the game's over with, we're ready to go home, and we've got to do police reports and deal with some administration, and I will say, to their credit, their superintendent wrote us a very nice letter of apology. She was very ashamed and embarrassed at that stuff going on. So I credit her and commend her for that. But that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. That's what makes it a great rivalry, is when you have some of those antics going on between the two communities, between the two teams. On the field, it was a pretty clean football game.
Who would you say your offensive and defensive standout players from week 1 were?
When you put together an effort or a performance like we had the other night, it's really hard to really hone in on one particular person. I thought our offensive line played great. I thought our offensive line controlled their defensive line for the most part. I do want to name Jarrett Gill. It was his first start at quarterback. He's a 10th grader. He has worked his tail off in the offseason, and for him, he passed for almost 90 yards in the first half, which helped keep us balanced, which was a big deal. Malik Martin is our fullback and linebacker. He had 10 tackles on defense, rushed for 95 yards on offense, so he was a big contributor. And Gabe Howell caught two passes and scored 2 touchdowns, and one of those was a long one for 50 yards, which was awesome. Defensively, Drake Cloudis, Malik Martin, David McCary, all had standout football games, and once again, our defensive line, McCary, Chappie, Jake Daffron, and Jared Willingham, I thought they really controlled the defensive line as well.
Tell us about the 12th man at Samuel McCain Stadium.
Well, if you weren't there this past Friday night at Gordon Lee, our band they were loud. Our cheerleaders were loud, and I had challenged them at the pep rally. We wanted to beat Gordon Lee on the field. We wanted our band to play louder. We wanted our girls to be prettier, and it was a full effort Friday night. The Trion community was so excited. Saturday morning, you could go to the Walmart or go around to the mill, and everybody had their chest poked out a little bit more than normal. We've got an opportunity this Friday night. We want you guys to come out, support our band, support our guys, support our cheerleaders. We want Sam McCain to be louder than ever. It's going to be our home opener. Y'all come out, and we're going to get after those Indians Friday night.